Okay, I'm continuing to have fun responding to Law of Self-Defense, Andrew Branca. So we'll catch us up here now. We are on February 25th, 2024. Yesterday, the judge released the result of the motion to dismiss. That was that they had the hearing on May 17th, was the motion to dismiss, and yesterday the judge denied that motion. We have two more motions to dismiss, so we'll see what happens. But on the 18th of May, the day after the hearing, Branca did a live stream, and I made some comments about that, and then a couple of days ago he did another live stream where he referenced the comments from the May 18th live stream. So he is referring to me here, which is totally okay. Let's listen to what he has to say about what I said.
Obviously wasn't justified self-defense. Baldwin's not claiming that. Or without due, in his opinion,
here we go,
might produce death in an unlawful manner.
Trying to get the right spot in the video here.
Or a lawful act without due caution and circumspection that results in the manslaughter. By the way, I've seen argument. We had a commenter on Saturday arguing that, well, in his opinion, Alec Baldwin meets the due caution and circumspection standard because, and therefore this could not have been manslaughter, involuntary manslaughter, because of the presence of a armorer on set, and the fact that the David Hall, the first assistant director, he was the overall manager.
Okay, so it's not exactly what I said. It's pretty close. If I did say the presence of an armor, and in a live stream, you only have so many words and stuff like that. You don't get to have this nice, rich back and forth conversation where you can clarify what you meant. I mean, what I meant to say is the usage of an armor, not the presence of the armor. The usage of the armor constitutes due caution and circumspection on a movie set. When the SAG does their guidelines, dogs, we got two dogs over there. Oh, come on. How does that help me? Huh? How does that help me? Doesn't. Shush it. Looch, over here. Come on. Come on. I think you've gotten enough trouble for the day. Come on. All right. Anyways, so I'm arguing that it's the usage of the armor, not the presence of the armor, that constitutes due caution and circumspection. When SAG and when the movie industry thinks about doing movies and they know they're going to use guns, they say, oh, well, guns are dangerous. What do we've got actors of all different skill levels. How are we going to deal with the fact that, how are we going to have actors handling guns on set? And then it's like, hey, I know we'll have an armor. So thinking about it ahead of time, guns are dangerous. We've got a wide range of skills on movie sets. What are we going to do about that? How are we going to make it how are we going to make it safe? Let's use an armor. Let's make it the armor's exclusive responsibility. That thought process and the development of the best practices, in my mind, constitutes due caution and circumspection. So the due caution and circumspection happens long before Alec Baldwin is standing there in the movie in the church on that tragic day. And this is a tragedy, okay? I analyze this kind of cold-heartedly in analyzing the legal arguments. Let's not all forget that this was a terrible tragedy and that Helena Hutchins lost her life in here. And so let it not be confused as I make these impassioned legal arguments that this was a terrible tragedy. Anyway, so I'm arguing that is due caution and circumspection. He doesn't give any credence to that argument at all. And so we're just going to go into one kind of his counter argument, and then I'm going to give my counter argument to his counter argument. And we'll leave it at that for this video.
Of safety on the set. And Alec Baldwin knew that David Hall had that responsibility, and Alec Baldwin knew that handling.
But he's going to get into the SAG guidelines here in a minute.
Handling the firearms, consequences in his handling of that gun, because David guidelines cannot trump New Mexico.
By the way, I'm always trying to. I want to respect copyright laws, and I want to stay within the bounds of what I think is fair use. But I also don't want to misrepresent people by playing too short of a clip and having to be out of context. So, anyway, so I hope anybody that watches this can appreciate that I'm trying to strike this balance between fair use copyright and not unfairly misrepresenting somebody's point of view. Okay.
Let's go criminal law. Now, those guidelines can hurt Alec Baldwin.
He's going to get into it.
If they
SAG general guidelines here in a second.
Perfectly parallel, equal to the requirements of New Mexico criminal law, or they're even stricter than New Mexico.
So I think that one of the problems here is that from a legal authority standpoint, the New Mexico statute is going to trump any SAG guidelines. However, from a clarity standpoint, the New Mexico statute is very vague, like negligent use of a firearm and or without due caution and circumspection, and then this other thing in here, commission of a lawful act which might produce death in an unlawful manner. I mean, one of those three pathways, but it's extremely vague, okay? So it's not that SAG guidelines trump New Mexico law, which of course they don't, but New Mexico law doesn't provide any clarity on this. So if we don't have any clarity coming from the law, we might look to industry guidelines to try to make a determination on what would be a best practice here. Okay, anyway, so let's hear the crux of the argument here.
That could be used to hurt him, because you could argue not only does New Mexico criminal law say Alec Baldwin's guilty, but it's the setup to ensure your own safety.
Here we go. This is what I'm trying to get
to. The armor. That under industry guidelines, that would relieve Alec Baldwin of any further responsibility.
Okay, see, this is a straw man. It's a straw man argument. The fact that you have some responsibility, of course you have some responsibility when you're handling a gun. I mean, you don't, if the gun has blanks in it, you definitely have responsibility and to listen to the armor, to not discharge the gun at too close of a distance, because we know from John Eric Hexum back in the 80s that he put a gun to his head with blanks in it, and so we know that guns are dangerous. That's what SAG Safety Bulletin number one is all about, is emphasizing the fact that guns, even with blanks, are dangerous. So of course it's not that there's no responsibility. So to argue, oh, well, if Kevin is right, that means the actor has no responsibility at all under anything. Once he takes possession of that gun, he can do anything he wants. No. See, that's a straw man. Okay.
For safe gun handling. Well, all you have to do is look at SAG's own guidelines.
Okay, here we go. This is what I'm trying to get to. All right, this is the core argument here. As an actor, you're responsible for your own safety and the safety of your fellow casting crew. Okay, that's it. Now, this is the general guidelines. This is not Safety Bulletin number one, which is more specific to firearms. This is general safety guidelines for a movie set in general. And so is this not a slam dunk against Baldwin? It says right there in the general guidelines, you're ultimately responsible for your own safety and the safety of your fellow cast and crew. So this is Branca's counter argument to me, is I'm saying that is using an armor is due caution and circumspection. He's offering a counter argument that says, well, go look at the SAG general guidelines, and here it says an actor is ultimately responsible for safety and safety of fellow cast member. Okay, so now I'm going to make my counter argument to Branca's counter argument to my argument. So my counter argument to this would be that these are general forward-looking statements that are designed to imbue an abundance of caution. Remember, SAG members are all different skills, all different ages, and I think what SAG is attempting to accomplish here with this guideline is that they're attempting to encourage all their members, no matter how young they are, how old they are, how experienced or inexperienced they are, that if you see something, speak up. don't remain idly by, and if you have a concern about something, don't be afraid, even if you're a low-level actor and you don't make as much as the superstar does. Don't be afraid to put your hand up and ask a question or say something. Bring it to someone's attention. So don't be passive. If you notice something, if you see something, say something. All right, check your own harness. I kind of think of this like a safety harness or something. Rope go through belt, belt loop, right? If you see something obviously wrong, if the safety harness doesn't feel tight on you or something, or you think you can slip off, don't just let them dangle you over the mountain and you fall. Say something ahead of time. That's what I think this means. This is a forward-looking statement that's intending to encourage people to be safe. It's a bit like the Hill Street Blues captain, let's be safe out there. I don't think that a general statement of caution and encouraging people to step up, I don't think that can create a legal culpability if something goes wrong. So that would be my counter argument here. Maybe there is some case precedents and things like that speaks to this issue, speaks to the issue of what happens if you have an industry and the industry has sort of a general blanket guideline of safety that doesn't really speak to anything very specifically, and then an accident happens. Can you go back to that extremely highly general statement and try to find legal culpability from because the accident happens, it means you weren't being safe, and if you weren't being safe, that means that you have some legal culpability of a crime. I don't know. That would surprise me if there were legal precedences established along those lines. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know the full breadth of case law as it pertains to this. But it would surprise me if a general statement like this could properly be used in the way Branca's representing it. A lot of my arguments against Branca are that he uses all these things the wrong way. Like, he misconstrues them, he misrepresents them. We talked all about State v. Gilliam, where I made that case. Here again, I think he's using this incorrectly. He's misconstruing it, misrepresenting it, trying to read into something here that it was never intended to be made for. It was intended to encourage people, speak up, say something. It wasn't intending to make a legal culpability that if you fail to notice something, like if you do notice something, you should say something. All right, but the failure to notice something, I don't see how that then creates enough of a willful disregard or blatant disregard for the safety of others or whatever it is that the prosecution needs to prove to turn this into a guilty verdict on involuntary manslaughter. Okay, thank you.